Good morning. My name is Aliyah Collins. I am a first year MDiv student from Jackson, Tennessee, a little bit outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Um, and I have the esteemed privilege to lead us in our land acknowledgement. And I hope to join in as we acknowledge the land that our institution lies upon. We acknowledge that we live, work, and thrive on land that once was the home and under the stewardship of indigenous peoples of the Massachusetts, the Nipmuc, and the Wampanoag tribes, and which was stolen by colonizers from Europe. We acknowledge also the early colonies, economies, and societies on the lands of this hemisphere, dependent on the brutally forced labor of enslaved Africans. We acknowledge with respect the ancestors and living elders of the indigenous and Black diasporas, and acknowledge with respect and in solidarity our Black and indigenous neighbors and kin with whom we are creating the future. At this time, we will have a music performance by our sister Eilaf.
Hello, hi, salam, peace, welcome. Hi, everybody. My name is Eilaf Farajalla. I'm a first-year Master's of Theological Students at the Harvard Divinity School, and it is my great honor to perform for you today. I was asked to for one of my original pieces, little backstory for you. I wrote it right this past summer, right around the time that we lost George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. I was heartbroken, like much of the country was, but I did what Black people do best. I turned to my spirituality for peace. And I am so honored to be able to share it with you today. It's a little bit of a mashup with some contemporary music, a church hymn that I really like. And I'm going to begin it all with a meded, which is a Sufi chant, something that I really am drawn to. I was raised Muslim. This is something from my own spiritual tradition, and I hope it can give us all a little bit of peace and remind us about what it is to be Black and beautiful and to have that access to spirituality that we have. So I do hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. يا رب المصطفى بلغ مقاصدنا واغفر لنا ما مضى يا واسع الكرم يا واسع الكرم محمد بشر وليس كالبشر محمد يقود والناس كالحجر والناس كالحجر No weapon formed against me shall prosper, no, it won't work. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, no, it won't work, no, it won't work, no, it won't work. And it won't work, no matter how bad the hurt. He blew life into your soul, Lord of the heavens and earth. And I know it looks bad, I know that things are looking dreary, I know the country's on its knees, tired and weary. And as I transcribe this diatribe against my tribe, I hope that everybody listening catches this vibe, called into duty, as we must begin to question ignorant of the history of our very conception. Why is the state of our nation in permanent chaotic rotation? American exceptionalism versus American expectation. Damn, to replicate hate against our own teammates. Don't wait. Checkmate. Go make America great. Slavery, Jim Crow, and that was after the Middle Passage. Black skin is still baggage. We're still trying to manage the damage the ancestors said overcome, and yes, we overcame, but over and over again, y'all know the name of the game. because Black Lives Matter, but that you always knew. So when the time comes, you know what you have to do. You have to come through. God will come through. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, when my hand was made strong by the hands of the Almighty, we fought in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption song, redemption song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Now that ourselves can free our minds, have no fear for atomic energy, for none of them can stop at a time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs, songs of freedom, songs of freedom, songs of freedom. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Enjoy the conference. Thank you.
That was very beautiful. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this 5th annual conference on Black religion, spirituality, and culture at Harvard Divinity School. Over 600 of you have registered for this conference, which is really fantastic. I extend a particularly warm welcome to our 27 distinguished guest panelists and our 8 alums. It's great to see you back at Harvard Divinity School. So thank you everyone for coming, wherever you are in the world. We're delighted to have you with us. I'm only sorry that we can't host you in person, but I'm confident that next year we will be hosting the 6th annual conference in our new campus space in Swartz Hall, though 600 would be a challenge. The title of this year's conference is simply BLACK, Black Liberation, Activism, Community, and Kinship. I know you'll all agree that our conference organizers have put together a spectacular program. So first, I want to pay tribute to the planning team who have worked so tirelessly to make this conference happen. So special thanks to Kayla Smith, Lesedi, Graveline, Amaya Cook, Nadia, Milad, Issa, Eboni Joy Johnson, and Eboni Nash, and to all the many student volunteers who helped them. So thank you so much. Thank you for all you've done. I'm also grateful especially to Katie Caponera, Steph Goschel, Melissa Bartholomew, Tim Wilski, and everyone else on the staff of HDS who played a part in helping make this conference happen. I want to keep my remarks brief this morning so as not to get in the way of the conference. But there are 3 things I most want to say. First, I want to pay tribute to the founding generation of this conference back in 2016, and to everyone who has kept the torch alive every year since then, including those who planned the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th annual conferences, which were all outstanding events. When we celebrated HDS's bicentennial also back in 2016, we discovered, unsurprisingly, that many of the most important innovations at Harvard Divinity School throughout its history have been pioneered by our students. And this conference is no exception. What I've called the founding generation, people like Taylor Stewart and David Waters and Carleen Secco-Griffiths and others, they have generously acknowledged also that they were standing on the shoulders of others, the many generations of past students. I also want to say that although many staff and faculty have supported this conference over the years, I have to say honestly that given what was going on in our country and in our own community, we did not do enough. As Dean, I want to make clear in public that we will continue to support this conference to make it a permanent feature of the HDS landscape. You have my complete support in making that happen. Second, this conference, brilliant though it is not an end in itself. It is not just a vehicle for recognizing talent and focusing discussion on important issues and celebrating culture, vital as those things are, but it is itself a change agent designed to impact academia and the communities in which we live, including HDS. In the words of the conference organizers, quote, "The 5th annual conference serves to build a bridge between the known and the unknown, to bring our voices and lived experiences to the forefront in a society where our narratives are often deemed unworthy, invalid, and invisible." In other words, this conference is an agent of change at Harvard Divinity School, in Greater Boston, in the United States, and right around the world. So thirdly, and in that spirit of wider engagement with our world, I want to share a story with you that has made an impact on me over the past few months. As you know very well, the last year of our lives have been dominated and disfigured by the COVID-19 pandemic, by systemic racism and acts of violence, and by a callous administration. Now, as a person of Irish descent, my mind goes back to a very similar trilogy, to the Great Irish Famine, memorialized with an outdoor sculpture near our own campus on the Cambridge Common. Beginning in 1845, over 1 million people died from hunger and disease, and another 1 million left Ireland in what were called coffin ships for North America. In less than a decade, the Irish population was reduced by over 25% and has never recovered its pre-famine levels. Of course, I knew about the famine, but what I did not know about the famine until recently, and what I should have known, is that 1845 was also the year that the American freed slave, abolitionist, and social justice reformer Frederick Douglass visited Ireland. As a young man, he was only 27. And he was there when the famine was just beginning in its first year. Douglass described his visit to Ireland as transformative. The first time in his life that he felt like a man and not a chattel. Through his experiences in Ireland, he came to believe that the cause of the slave was the cause of the oppressed everywhere. This is the same sentiment expressed by Martin Luther King Jr. when he stated that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We now have a new edition of Frederick Douglass's letters and speeches from Ireland in 1845. That's how it came to my attention. On New Year's Day, 1846, he wrote a letter from my home city of Belfast to this city where HDS is located in Boston. And he wrote this to the Boston-based abolitionist leader, William Lloyd Garrison. He wrote, "I can truly say I've spent some of the happiest moments of my life since landing in this country. I seem to have undergone a transformation. I live a new life. The warm and generous cooperation extended to me by the friends of my despised race and the entire absence of everything that looked like prejudice against me on account of the color of my skin contrasted so strongly with my long and bitter experience in the United States. I breathe, and lo, the chattel becomes a man. I breathe, and lo, the chattel becomes a man. 175 years later, since that letter was written, as you know all too well, people of color still struggle to breathe and to live a new life of dignity, freedom, and respect that Douglass was searching for. 175 years is a long time to hold one's breath. May this HDS campus be a place where everyone can breathe the fresh air of equal justice and respect for all, or what John Hume, the Irish recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, called parity of esteem. This conference, this 5th annual iteration of this now permanent feature of the HDS educational landscape will, I believe, play a major part in cleaning the air and helping us breathe the fresh air of justice and equity. So thank you everyone for honoring us with your presence. Thank you for helping HDS become a better place. We have learned a great deal from you already, and we know we need to learn a whole lot more. So have a great conference. Please come back and visit us when we get through this pandemic, and have a wonderful day. Welcome to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Hempton. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today at our 5th annual Black Religion, Spirituality, and Culture Conference. I am Kayla J Smith. I'm a 3rd-year Master of Divinity student from Memphis, Tennessee. And as president of Harambe, Students of African Descent here at Harvard Divinity School, it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome y'all wherever you may be calling in from. Today, we have over 600 guests registered, calling in from over 43 states and territories in the United States and 28 countries throughout Africa, Asia, North America, South America, and Europe. And I want to personally welcome each and every one of you. I want to share our call of action as a conference and as a student organization as something to bring with us today into each panel discussion. We recognize that our call is to be faithful, hopeful, prophetic, and undaunting in sustaining and drawing from our ancestral legacies and deep wells of transnational Black liberation struggles. We hold dear this year's theme, BLACK, Black liberation, activism, community, and kinship, as the call of the hour. And as Dean Hempton has already stated, this conference serves to build a bridge between the known and the unknown, to bring our voices and lived experiences to the forefront in a society where our narratives are deemed unworthy, invalid, and invisible. We commit to disrupting space by claiming our narratives as lived theories and analysis. This year, Harambe, Students of African Descent, are breaking out the box, and we bring you this forum to speak truth to power. Ashe, Ache, Ayibobo, Aho, and Amen.
Hi, everyone. It is also my distinct honor to welcome each of you to today's conference. My name is Lesedi Graveline, and I am a 2nd-year Master of Theological Studies student here at Harvard Divinity School. As a planning committee, we have worked tirelessly over the past several months to create panels and partnerships that will create a safe and meaningful space for Black, Indigenous, people of color, cultural heritages, and traditions of being and becoming. We will facilitate much needed conversations around the global militarization of police and police brutality against Black and brown folks across the African diaspora. Participants will engage in high-performance dance, movement, listening to panelists, expand on the dance traditions of Vodou, Regla de Ocha Ifa, Candomblé, Umbanda, and traditional Ifa. The panels will flesh out Indigenous and African ways of being in community, explore the dire need to come together as change agents to radically impact academia and our communities positively. Other panels will discuss the work being done by Harvard Divinity School alumni and scholarship undertaken by students at various institutions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eboni Nash, and I'm a second-year Master's of Theological Studies student here at Harvard Divinity School. Again, to reiterate what Dean Hempton mentioned earlier, this conference would not have been possible without the work of our executive committee, which includes Kayla J Smith, Lesedi Graveline, Nadia Issa, Eboni Joy Johnson, Amaya Cook, and myself. We would also like to recognize the remarkable work of Katie Caponera at the Office of Student Life, Mani Sri Krishna, Ashley Lipscomb, Dean Melissa Wood Bartholomew, Dean David Hempton, Harvard Divinity School Administration, and all of our supporters and volunteers. Most importantly, none of us would be gathered here without the initiators of the inaugural conference, which took place in 2016, the first of the school's 200 years of existence. These organizers responded to their commitment to their communities and vocations, and their desire to strengthen already existing efforts and work towards a more robust and diverse curriculum and representation of Black religious scholars within the faculty. To them, we say thank you.
Good morning, or, hello at whichever time you find yourself in. Thank you for being here. Hello, everyone. My name is Nadia Issa. I am a first-year Master of Theological Studies student here at the Harvard Divinity School, and we have a very full and very robust schedule in store for you all today. So our first panel is titled Aibobo, Dancing Deities in the Diaspora, Danced Religions of African Diasporic Spiritual Religious Traditions, which will start at 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that first panel, 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then the second panel is titled Global Militarization of Police, Black Freedom and International Solidarity, which will start at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so it'll follow. The third panel is titled Native and African Ways of Being in Community, Resilience as Resistance, which will start at 2:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And between 2 o'clock and 2:30, if you feel like you want to get some movement after our lunch break, you can join me at a link that we sent you to join us in an Afro-Cuban folklore Yoruba Orisha dance technique class. That's from 2 o'clock to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, if you want to dance some Afro-Cuban folklore, yeah? Then the fourth panel is our student panel, which is titled Rethinking Study as Transformative Justice, which will start at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our fifth and final panel for today is Alumni Doing the Work, which will start at 5:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The final event of the day will be the Sankofa Award presentation. So please utilize the links provided in the emails that we've sent out in light of your registration. This is where you will be able to join us in each discussion. See you all at the first panel.